So some of the findings coming out of the research in ladies Gaelic football is multifaceted, but some of it is the lack of access. So things like global GPS, we tend to see, based on surveys we've conducted and our colleagues in other institutions, that about 90+% of male intercounty teams make use of GPS, whereas in the female space it's around 30 to 60%. So we do see that access gap. Now, that's partly due to just a lack of resources or a lack of equipment or a lack of time.
In other instances though, it is about creating adaptations or custom-tailored base points when it comes to women's sport.
A lot of devices and a lot of techniques and monitoring systems, it was initially developed for men, so validated in men, we know it works. And then some of the standards or thresholds were then incorporated into female athletes or for female athletes. Sometimes that's fine, and there's no reason not to, and then sometimes that's a bit of an issue. To give a recent example, a study just published last year used male thresholds for what is considered high intensity sprinting and what is considered maximal effort sprinting. And when you use that male threshold, it would say that in Premiership players, in the English Premiership for semi-professional rugby players, about 2% of all of their running was considered high intensity. Now, what we see in the male game is about 8 to 9%. Now, when you use custom thresholds just based around what women actually do in terms of how fast they can sprint and how active they are, we see that the threshold or the percentage actually changes. It's about 8%, just exactly what you'd expect at the highest level of sport. So using defaults that are built for men in the female game, in some areas it can actually underestimate, it can point you down the wrong avenue. If you're monitoring load, then you'll overestimate or you'll underestimate. If you're monitoring performance, then you'll underestimate as well. So having data that's based on female athletes and what they actually do will actually continue to serve and improve our use of these technologies for female athletes.
Things like Ida and Youngston's boots then are a prime example, with their design featuring a more triangular shape akin to the form of a generic woman's foot, while also offering increased arch support and custom stud configuration in line with the differences in weight distribution throughout a woman's body. That's not to say that all women will find them better, but even just having the freedom to choose allows more autonomy over footwear decisions.
It's about finding the right gear for the right moment. You've got unisex jerseys, and then you've got women's cut jerseys, and people have different preferences. I think when it comes to equipment that you use to aid performance, then you really got to find something that works for your body. And I think once you get something that really works, there's really no looking back, because you're like, oh, I totally see how it didn't work for me in the past.